I need you to forget everything that you've ever heard from toxic diet culture about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are not the enemy. They're actually your body's preferred source of energy. Your body breaks down carbohydrates into glucose, and glucose is the main source of energy for your body's cells, tissues, and organs. In this video, I will be explaining to you exactly what the amazing biomolecule that is carbohydrates is, and why you need to buy it. Carbohydrates are molecules made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. There are thousands of different carbohydrates, but they all consist of one or more smaller units called monosaccharides, or simple sugars. There are three monosaccharides: glucose, fructose, and galactose. When two monosaccharides are joined together by glycosidic bonds, this is called a disaccharide. Types of disaccharides include sucrose, lactose, and maltose. Both monosaccharides and disaccharides are simple carbohydrates. When a very long chain of monosaccharides are joined together, these are called polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are referred to as complex carbohydrates, and some examples include starch, glycogen, and dietary fiber. In order to understand how carbohydrates function in our cells, you must know their chemical structure. Monosaccharides are made up of a carbon chain of 3 or more carbon atoms containing a hydroxyl group, which is attached to every carbon but one. The one carbon is double bonded to an oxygen atom, and this group can be positioned anywhere along the carbon chain. So, one oxygen atom and 2 hydrogen atoms exist for every carbon in a monosaccharide. The general formula for a monosaccharide is CH2ON, where N can be any number greater than 2. Like I said earlier, disaccharides are linked together by glycosidic linkages. These linkages involve covalent bonds from one carbon atom in each monosaccharide to a single oxygen atom between them. The carbon atom in this covalent bond may differ for each particular carbohydrate molecule. A disaccharide is formed when two monosaccharides undergo a dehydration reaction, which involves the elimination of a small molecule, such as water, from the aldehyde or ketone functional groups. For example, the disaccharide sucrose, which is known as table sugar, is made from a glycosidic bond between a monomer of fructose and a monomer of glucose, which are joined together in a dehydration reaction. The general chemical formula for disaccharides is C12H22O11. Now moving on to complex carbohydrates, polysaccharides. Just like disaccharides, polysaccharides are linked together by glycosidic linkages, although they consist of more than 2 monosaccharides. Homopolysaccharides are made up of the same repeating units, and heteropolysaccharides are composed of a variety of different repeating units. The general formula for polysaccharides is CH2ON, where N is the number of repeating units. The main role of carbohydrates in your body is to supply energy to all of your cells. Many cells prefer glucose as a source of energy over other compounds such as proteins or fatty acids. Some cells, such as red blood cells, are only capable of producing ATP from glucose. Glucose in the blood is taken up into your body cells, and through a series of complex processes known as cellular respiration, it produces an energy molecule called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. ATP is the energy currency of the cell and is used to power a variety of different metabolic tasks. ATP powers cellular processes such as osmosis, protein synthesis, DNA replication, homeostasis, aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and more. Also, did you know that the carbohydrate glucose is the major fuel for your brain? The average adult brain represents about 2% of the body's weight, yet uses 25% of the body's glucose. And if you are concentrating hard, certain parts of the brain need a lot of extra glucose. Carbohydrates are in all of the foods that you love. Simple carbohydrates are found in processed and refined foods such as white and brown sugar, white bread, donuts, candy, and all of your favorite junk foods. Complex carbs are found in whole grains, legumes, vegetables, and nuts. Complex carbs digest slower as they take your body longer to break down. All of these foods are not only delicious, but they are also essential for a balanced and healthy diet. You may have heard of some highly restrictive diets, such as keto, paleo, or just low carb, that pit carbohydrates as the absolute enemy and try to claim that your body can work better on different biomolecules instead. When your body severely lacks carbohydrates, it causes your body to use ketones for energy, and that can cause you to feel strong fatigue and cause even sickness, which people often call the keto flu. This includes symptoms such as a headache, foggy brain, nausea, irritability, and constipation. As for long-term, complications such as heart arrhythmias, cardiac contractile function impairment, sudden death, osteoporosis, kidney damage, increased cancer risk, impairment of physical activity, and lipid abnormalities can all be linked to long-term restriction of carbohydrates in the diet. Carbohydrates are more important than any other biomolecule. They are your body's preferred source of energy and most efficient. Other biomolecules are more of a long-term food source, but carbohydrates fulfill your body's immediate needs. Also, complex carbohydrates are loaded with essential nutrients like vitamins and minerals, which your body needs to survive. And they can also help reduce the risk of heart disease and diabetes. To conclude, you need to buy carbohydrates. They look so good on the outside and will make you feel even better on the inside. This biomolecule will not let you down, I promise you that.